Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Let's Talk Automotive. This is episode 47, and in tonight's show we have the latest and breaking news. We review the updated Suzuki Swift, and our guest tonight is Glenn Foley.
And then we're going to enjoy Glenn with Game Time, which I'm sure I'm going to get slaughtered in tonight because it's all about bikes, and our feature on how things work, and of course my favorite part of the evening, Tappet of the Week.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Let's Talk Automotive. Right, guys, thanks for joining us. Whether you're watching with us on Let's Talk Automotive, on raceday.tv, on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you are, please remember this is an interactive show, so you are allowed to talk to us, comment and share and like and go crazy. If you have any questions for Professor Peter or myself, which I won't be able to answer, I'll just pass them on to Professor Peter. All right, Pete, so your Formula One was exciting for a change. Can you believe that Lewis Hamilton was part of a race but not on a podium?
Oh, I tell you what, it made it so much more interesting for me, with all due respect. But I've got to tell you, I'm still a little bit upset about the weekend with what happened to Valtteri Bottas. And I'm even more upset about the reaction of Tito Wolff. I think, we got Tappet of the Week coming up. I think that Tito Wolff and his reaction in partially blaming Valtteri Bottas for this cross-threaded nut. I think that Tito Wolff, in fact, is the numb nut in the equation.
So we've got a picture that we're going to put up quickly.
Yeah, there we go.
Meanwhile, back at the Mercedes factory. so let me get this right. He actually blamed Valtteri for not stopping
on the marks.
And
and he was saying that the gun then was at the wrong angle. But I mean, you pointed it out earlier when we spoke about this, and you said
if the one nut if the one nut wasn't at the right angle, then the other three should have been
exactly.
The same.
All four tires should have been cross-threaded.
Exactly.
So I'm sorry, Tito Wolff. You've upset a Formula One fan here, mate.
I agree.
I'm a bit upset with you. So.
All right. So on that note, let's get on with the show and let's get into this week's news. Joining us tonight via video call, Johannes Janse van Rensburg from Club 23. How are you doing, Johannes?
I'm doing well, guys. And you guys?
Thank you very much. We're doing awesome.
Yep.
So, Johannes, you guys had a very, very interesting vehicle launch or product launch last night. And we thought that we would get you on the show tonight, seeing that we sort of representing Club 23. So why don't you tell us about this Nismo GTR that you guys launched last night?
Thanks, Fanie. Yeah, we had a little bit of a dream a while ago. Well, since I was at Nissan and doing GTR, Nismo was always one that we wanted to get into the country and on the product lineup. But unfortunately, it's not just introducing one model. It's a brand job, so much bigger than just one individual car. And with Club 23, obviously we've got a little bit more freedom than OEM.
Sure.
And we decided to take our 2013 Nissan GTR and give it the 2021 look. So we imported a 2021 Nismo exterior styling kit. And we unveiled it last night to the public and to some media. And these kits are basically available, which you can actually purchase, and we can fit it to from the oldest model, a 2009 model, up to the newest model.
Okay.
Oh, looks absolutely gorgeous. Johannes, I think also maybe something to just remind our viewers about. I mean, we see the number 23 on Fanie's computer there. And you have told us a story about what that represents, and I still think it's a very cool story. So if you can maybe just remind us and the viewers about the significance of the number 23 in Club 23.
Yeah, sure. If you look at Nissan's racing history, a lot of their cars use the number 23 on their branding. And we carry that over to a lot of our branding and obviously establish our business with the same sentiment, and it allows us to get a conversation point going, and it's very simple. If you count in Japanese 1, 2, 3, it's Ichi, Nissan, and 23 then basically becomes Nissan. So
Awesome.
because our network is strong within the Nissan brand and with the tuners and the dealers, it only makes sense that we build our business around that, and that's why it's Club Nissan.
Yeah, that's very cool. I love it.
Love it. Listen, Johannes, before we let you go, obviously this is probably, and like you guys said, this is the first Nismo GTR in Africa. If people want to get into contact with you guys with regards to getting this package installed on their GTR, where must they go and who must they call?
Yeah, so it's there's various ways. They can go to our either our Instagram or Facebook handles, which is basically just Club 23, or our webpage www.c23.co.za, and they can drop us a mail on info@c23.co.za. It's very simple.
So I think that one thing that people would want to know is the price on this kit. But you know what I think, Johannes, if you can afford a GTR, then price isn't an option, and the guy that wants it must just call you and just get it done. That's what I think.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. Look, the kit is not, if we compare versus other guys in market, we're actually quite affordable.
Okay.
The whole point of the kit is if you take a car that's retailing now in the region of, let's say, about 700,000 Rand for 09 or 2010,
Yeah.
by installing this kit, I mean, if you look at that car, it was standing next to a 2021 50th anniversary edition.
Yes.
And it looked more expensive, and that blue car,
Agreed.
the 50th, retails for 2.5 million. So,
Yes.
I mean, all of a sudden, your 700,000 became 3 million or 3.5 million Rand
Yes.
lookalike investment. So it will increase the resale value of these cars.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, Johannes, just having a look at those photographs of the kit, it really, really looks stunning. So we really wish you all the best, and I'm sure you're going to have lots of customers beating down your door to put in those orders.
Thank you so much, guys. We hope so, and we trust that we're moving in the right direction. And obviously, we can't do it without the guys like you guys that help with the promotion, the exposure, and awareness. Thank you so much.
Awesome, Johannes. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
Ciao, ciao.
You too. Cheers. Hey.
That's pretty impressive,
That's
eh?
stunning. I mean, it's actually gobsmacking.
It's flipping amazing. All right, guys, let's move on with tonight's show. And tonight, we've got another announcement, Peter.
Yes, we do.
We've got a new Let's Talk Automotive partner to announce tonight.
Yes, and quite an interesting hint that
Yes.
you're going to give me in terms of who it is. So,
It starts with a B,
yeah,
and it ends with a B.
so it must be BB.
BB Motor Group. BB Motor Group's come on board as our new official sponsor and partner for the reviews. And tonight we are reviewing the newly facelifted Suzuki Swift, which you can obviously get from BB Motor Group. And guys, let's get into the review. And this is proudly brought to you by BB Motor Group. Right, Peter, welcome to Let's Talk Automotive and our featured car of the week, the newly upgraded Suzuki Swift.
And in this case, we've got the GLX version. And I've been quite looking forward to driving this because this has got the new motor, the new 1.2.
Yes.
The previous Swifts that I've driven have all had the 1.5.
The previous generation.
The previous
yes.
generation, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, Peter, so a couple of minor changes to the exterior of the car. A couple of things that we'll go through quickly, but let's start at the front here. This new grille, what do you think?
It looks nice and aggressive.
And this new chrome strip here is also new to this update.
Yeah, so it splits the grille up into two sections now, so it looks the part.
Right, and then if we look at the front, the GL and the GLX models got the fog lights.
Yep, so that's a nice addition.
If we move to the side here, the 15-inch alloy wheels, nice and aggressive, a new design on this model, which really brings it very close to, if you look at the exterior of this car, it looks very much like almost like the Swift Sport.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely. And that was a great car to drive,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Right, something new that's now an option is the dual tone colors. So So you get I think it's called midnight blue and this red and all the colors, but with the option of the dual tone, which is
So that's part of the upgrade, is the color palette has changed as well.
correct. Right, Pete, normal stuff like we used to is keyless entry.
Yeah.
Keyless entry, start-stop button, all the bells and whistles. But exterior-wise, good-looking car. But I think we must get in and drive it.
Absolutely. I take dibs on driving.
Inside the Suzuki Swift, this new, let's call it a mild upgrade facelift. What do we call it?
Well, I tell you what, Suzuki's calling it a mild upgrade, but I've got to tell you, I think that there's more to this than just a mild upgrade. If we had go through some of the specification that they've changed.
Yeah, I agree. I was lucky enough, like we said in the show a couple of weeks ago, to join the team for the launch on the day. For the media launch, and yes, everybody said exactly the same. I think they underplayed this a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's a good thing. You're going to under promise, over deliver. You're going to have delighted customers.
Absolutely. Okay, so your first impression, we're going to take a drive out to the highway just now, but your first impression getting into the car?
Yeah, it's a nice solid feel to the car. So the way it drives, the little bit of handling that I've experienced, the car feels bigger than I suppose it is.
Yeah,
so it feels very sturdy on the road, nice and quiet. They've done a great job with the sound deadening and dampening. So
Yes.
All's well.
My first impression getting into the Swift is that I enjoy the fact that I feel at home in the Suzuki. It doesn't. We've had the Vitara Brezzo, we've had the Jimny, we've had the Espresso, and you can definitely feel like you're at home.
Yeah, so there's a consistent sort of golden thread of the way the car's laid out, the features that are in the car. Very,
Yes.
very typical Suzuki, I suppose.
And one thing that always impresses me, from the smallest to the biggest, is the space in the car. You know, we two big guys, me a little bit bigger than you, but we don't feel like we cramped, and it's a small car.
Not at all. So it's nice headroom. Yeah, awesome.
Let's take it onto the highway and also experience, because I think this is a city type of car, but I think more than capable to do the long trips as well. And I've actually driven. I worked with Suzuki in the past, and one thing that's very important to state here, Pete, is fuel consumption.
Ah, yes. Okay, so this is a 1.2 litre normally aspirated motor.
Yep.
So, upon hearing that, I was a little bit skeptical about, even with a car of this size, how would this cope?
Yes.
And on the reef. So we're a little bit more asthmatic on the reef.
Yes.
So far, so good. The fuel consumption that is quoted is 4.9 litres per 100 kilometres. Now, I am, like most people, a little bit skeptical about what is stated on paper and what translates into reality. So you've got more experience with this. So what is the actual net result in terms of fuel consumption?
Let me tell you that I've actually gotten a little bit better than that out of the car, doing a little bit of an economy drive, to try and see how low you can actually get it. So one thing that I think Suzuki can be very proud of is that the stated fuel consumption is the actual fuel consumption in this car driven in normal conditions.
Wow, okay.
I think the golden rule here is the power to weight ratio in this car. I think the car is still light enough so that this powertrain can actually give us the performance that we need.
Yeah,
and we actually asked them, what about a 1 litre turbo type of option on this car? And I think Suzuki's hit it exactly on the head when it comes to that. A turbo in this car would then again take it out of competitor
Price
segment
range, yeah.
and price range. And it's not necessary, let's be honest.
It's not. So first of all, so there's two big male adults sitting in this vehicle. We've got the aircon on full steam to cool us down. We add altitude, and very comfortably, I've now got to 120 kilometers an hour on the road. We are on a slight uphill, so normally the car would battle, this is a kind of a test to see if it can maintain that 120, and it's doing it. So one of the standout features for me on the GLX is the fact that it's got an automatic air conditioning system.
Yes.
And we've spoken about this before. It is a safer system and it's a more efficient system in terms of cooling the vehicle. So that's one thing that I enjoy. And then, of course, we have a rear reversing camera.
On the GLX model, that's now standard. So you get a reverse camera, high definition reverse camera. This sort of infotainment system is again something that we've become used to in the Suzukis. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard feature. You've got all the bells and whistles, USB ports at the bottom there, power sockets.
And that power socket, as Mornay actually pointed out to me, is 120 watt power socket. So it's a nice, powerful socket that you can plug in
and charge.
Some heavy duty type of equipment, like a fridge, for example. Because a lot of people forget that if you overload that, you know, it's gonna pop fuses or worse.
Correct. So all in all, Pete, I think a very happy place to be.
Well, I'm enjoying the handling of this, but we did also experience this when we took the Swift Sport out.
Yes.
And we had some fun on the skid pan. So it's bringing back some memories. So it's nice to see that it doesn't have to be the Swift Sport for you to enjoy actually some of the dynamics of the car itself.
Correct. All right, Pete, I'm behind the wheel now. Are you scared?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I have faith.
All right, one major update or upgrade, if we can call it that, is that ESP is now also standard on the new Swift.
And that's a feature that I believe every vehicle should have. It is an expensive feature still, although the price has started to come down with economies of scale. But talking about price, so we've got ESP, obviously ABS, EBD, which is electronic brake force distribution, and
just
BIS.
for the people that don't know, what is ESP?
ESP, Electronic Stability Program, and that's a system. It's a remarkable system. It corrects a skid. So if you understeer with brake intervention, just like you would turn a wheelchair by braking one side of the wheel, ESP works exactly the same way. So if I'm understeering, it's going to brake one of the back wheels, depending on which direction I'm understeering. And if I'm oversteering, it's going to brake one of the front wheels to correct the skid.
Is it traction control, or is it similar to traction control?
So traction control is a subsystem of ESP.
Okay.
Traction control regulates the spinning of the driven wheels.
Okay.
And in different circumstances, you want different levels of spin.
Okay.
But ultimately, you don't want to spin too much.
Sure.
Because then you've lost traction, and that's where the traction control.
Okay.
So traction control does not correct a skid. ESP corrects a skid with brake intervention.
All right, Pete, so we've looked at the exterior and the upgrades and what we've come to expect from Suzuki. We've had a very lekker drive now. It's performed exactly like we expected it to. I think it's time to give it a rating 1 out of 10 in its segment.
I'm going to change things up a little bit, Fanie. Instead of giving it a rating from 1 out of 10, I'm going to start my ratings, my way of categorizing a car, to rather be, would I buy this car?
Okay.
Because...
So is it a simple yes or no?
It's a simple yes or no. Would I buy this car, yes or no?
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if you want to do it that way, or if you want to still have your rating from 1 to 10.
No, we
Well,
can...
I've thrown you a bit of a curveball.
You've thrown me a bit of a curveball. Because I agree with you. Let's do both. Let's do both.
All right.
Because let's give it a rating. 1 out of 10. What would you rate this car 1 out of 10 in its segment?
Sure. Okay, so in its segment, again, I'm going to rate it very highly. You know, we sometimes get criticized for it, but I mean, in its segment, what does this compete against? You know, what comes close to this in terms of price, in terms of the features, reliability, all those good things. I mean, that's the other thing, by the way, that we didn't mention, was that it's got a 5-year, 200,000 kilometer introductory warranty.
Yes.
So again, Suzuki putting their money where their mouth is. We know how reliable these cars are.
Correct. And on that note, a standard 2-year, 30,000 kilometer service plan, which you can upgrade if you want to.
So, you know, it ticks all the boxes. I actually can't find any negatives on the car. So if I'm doing negative marking,
yeah,
I mean, I can't say it's a 10 because I've got to find something wrong, although I can't tell you what it is now. So I'm gonna make it a 9, and yes, I would buy this car.
Okay, I'm exactly where you are, because really, if the viewers out there can come and help us maybe to find some negatives here,
absolutely,
they can come and tell us or comment or leave us their thoughts. but I would also give it a 9 out of 10, a solid 9 out of 10, and I would definitely buy this car. All right, Pete, on that note, that's all from us this week and our thoughts on the new upgraded Suzuki Swift, and we'll see you guys again next time.
Cheers, everyone.
What a brilliant little car that was, eh?
No, it is. And as I said, with hands down, I'd buy that. No doubt.
So guys, if you're interested in that, just go to www.bbmotorgroup.co.za. I think they've got a branch here in Pretoria and also in Polokwane. So, and if you elsewhere in the country, you still go there and the guys will sort you out. They deliver nationwide. Yeah, you can.
Are you allowed to butt in?
Absolutely.
Here? Don't look now, there were beers under But listen, so last week, the Suzuki guys invited me for a trip down to the Cape, and they gave us their big V-Strom 1000.
Yes.
Would I like a car or a bike? I said, of course I want a bike. And they had these little Suzuki Ignises follow us the whole way. I've got to tell you, they've got a fantastic product.
Okay, I mean, so if you're wondering who this oak is here talking on the side, his name is Glenn Foley.
Yeah, he's not the painter of the studio. Sorry. He is actually our guest for the evening.
The guest for the evening tonight, Glenn Foley. Thank you very much for joining us, Glenn.
Thanks for having me along. But I saw the Suzuki inserts. You see, I do pay attention.
Yeah. So,
look a rabbit.
So Glenn.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Oh, quick contact.
You're into bikes,
Yes,
and we've known each other for years and years
sir.
now.
I'm very into bikes.
Yeah,
it's a sickness.
So Dirt and Trail magazine and Ride Fast magazine, that's your babies.
Yes, we started. I'll go back in time.
Tell me, before you get to the magazines, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Glenn Foley, and I'm an alcoholic. Where's that beer?
Fanie drank it already.
Nice. Sharing is caring, eh? So we, I'm just a guy who fell in love with motorbikes. I thought I wanted to be a vet or a...
was a movie line.
I'm sure it was, eh?
Just a guy standing in
and
front
I'm quite romantic, eh? And I've been in the bush all day.
Quite romantic.
I nearly didn't make it, Joe. I was stuck in the mud 3 hours ago. But I remember riding my first it was an Ital jet at school, and they had a little track, and I fell off it, and I've got a big scar inside my thigh. Hey, would you like to see it?
No.
But despite that, I decided, see, this is lacquer. I never went racing or anything, and we didn't have a lot of money or anything, so it was just a little bike. I had a spin-off. This is the coolest thing ever. Then I left school, as you do, and you know what the thing was?
Were you left or were you forced?
Well, Standard 8 was the best 3 years of my life. And I got matric, Standard 5 twice.
Awesome.
But when I left school, there's no big money. What do you buy? You buy a bike.
Yeah.
And my first bike was a Z200 Kawasaki. I'll tell everybody a story.
Yeah.
$3,500, and I could pay it off over a year. And I was working for Dave Peterson at the time, and I was earning, Dave, you didn't pay enough. 300 Rand a week or something like that. And
but when was that? That sounds like good money.
When did I mature? 1990? You see, I got a bit of grey here.
Yeah.
So,
1990,
91 or so,
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Right.
So, and fell in love with bikes, and that was it. And so I worked in the bike shop, which I don't really want to do again if I can possibly help it. But it was quite lekker because you get to know lots of people.
Sure.
And there was the time when, they battled to sell naked bikes now, and I don't understand it because all of our bikes were naked back then. CB900Fs and Z900s and this and that and that. And they were really getting old. And then along came the VFRs, and you aspired to own one of these things. But we had these old clapped out motorbikes, and but I just fell in love with them. Then I left that trade for a little while. I went to work for a bloke called Pinky Palmer, and he was also a motorcyclist, big Hells Angel type guy.
Pinky.
Yeah, Pinky. His name was Pinky Palmer. Do you remember the Telkom ad with that guy with the radio and the big beard who picks up and says, "Hello, Ma"?
Yeah.
That's Pinky Palmer.
Really?
Yeah. It's unbelievable, hey? So I worked for him for a while. And then out of the blue, I get a call from Mr. Simon Fourie from Bike SA. Hey, I've seen you around and I've seen you working for David. How'd you like to come and work for us? I was there for 8 years. How I put up with that lot for 8 years, I don't know. or it's the other way around.
Yeah.
But that's how your love affair starts. Yes. And I fell in love with motorbikes, and that's what we do.
Amazing. Before you carry on, guys, if you have any questions for Glenn, you can pop your questions in the comments below the videos, either on YouTube or on Facebook, and I'll convey them to Glenn.
Nothing complicated.
Yeah.
I don't know horsepower figures. I know almost nothing about racing, but I'll try.
And by the way, Rian Neveling sends his regards as well.
Hello,
he sent us a message.
Yes.
So, yeah, hopefully he's listening tonight from Austria. KTM marketing manager in Austria.
There's a success story for you. I mean,
100%.
came to work for KTM here. No, he's a big shot over there.
Brilliant.
And you know what? Even he reads our magazine because every time I get something wrong, he kicks me. Am I allowed to say that? Sorry, guys. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so now after that, how did the Ride Fast and the Dirt and Trail magazines
So
start?
I'll go one further. So what happened was in about 2000, Karine Andrews, who's my business partner in the adventure company, and I were invited on this mad-ass trip to Zambia.
Okay.
And we were told, no, come, it's an easy ride. We'd never ridden dirt bikes in our life.
Yeah.
Well, I rode Neatel. I got a big scar here. Would you like to see it?
You've never successfully ridden dirt
No,
bikes.
never. I mean, we'd ridden road bikes or whatever. So we thought, that sounds awesome. Let's go. What we didn't know was they were all motocross champions and this and that. So
Sure.
I bought an old KDX 200 and Karine borrowed a DHZ 400. It was the newest thing with electric start. And we jumped into Simon's little Opel and off we went up all the way up to Zambia and we cut off like you've never seen anyone. We did 500 kilometers through the Zambezi Valley and we thought it was the greatest thing in the whole world.
Ever, yeah.
We came back and we said, this is what we want to do. Okay, so very naughty though, under the radar, we didn't tell anybody. We started organizing these little off-road trips and things
Okay.
like that. And they grew and they grew. We started, it was the adventure company.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there was a demand for it. And you know, we introduced an element for kids and moms and everybody. You don't have to be this big-ass racer to come and do it. And we've been doing that since 2001, I think, or 2000. And that's what we do. And that's
Amazing.
awesome.
Now, I mean, on the adventure company, one of the things that you guys do, which is kind of near to my heart, you know my brother as well, Dave.
Yes.
And his mate, Full Case, is, of course, Quads for Quads, which is an incredible story. And I mean, what these guys are able to do is quite stunning.
I have much respect. And you know, I've met many people in wheelchairs and things with my association with this, and they don't want you to feel sorry for them. They want you to empower them and give them a hand and get them going. That's what they need, and they need skills. So how that came about, let me tell you. So we started the adventure company, and we started doing all these trips and this and that and that. And suddenly we noticed that our customers were copying us. No, we'd pick up, and then eventually one day I get an email from a customer of mine saying, "Hey, I see you doing a trip here and here and here and here." And here. I said, "We're not going there." He says, "But I've got your booking form." I said, "What are you talking about? Send it to me." And it was a customer who had verbatim, which happens, copied our stuff. And so I went, and Karine and I, we got very, very upset. We sat there, right, what can we do that's a little bit unique? She says, "I know what we'll do." "What are we going to do?" "No, we're going to ride from Joburg to Durban all the way off-road." I said, "No, man." And she says, "And you know what, Glenn? What? We're going to give the money away." I said, "Are you crazy? What are you?" I mean, we didn't have 50 cents to scratch our butts with.
Yeah.
"No, man." And I said, "Okay, well, let me think about this." No. And she says, "No, yeah, we're going to." So we found Ari Cerilis from Quasar. We sat there thinking, okay, what do we do? What charity, this and that? At that time, quads were massive. Okay,
Yeah.
Karine and I were both on bikes, but quads were booming. I mean, you coming from the trade, you knew they're actually just throwing them out the door.
Yeah.
We said, well, quads are a massive thing. Quads for quadriplegics, quads for quads. Quads for Quads was born.
Yeah.
We met Ari in a dodgy little hotel in the middle of Braamfontein. He said, "Nah, man, you oaks are mad." He kind of figured we were pulling his leg, but we weren't. And we said, "Okay, let's do it." And I promise you guys, I don't want to lie to you. We used to run from Ballito up to Johannesburg or the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when we first started doing this, there was like nobody out there. It was spectacular. It took us on and off 6 months to find that route. And I'll never forget, because I had a Cultra Deo V6. Do you know how much petrol those suckers use?
Birds fall out of the sky when you press the accelerator.
When petrol got to 7 rand a litre, I sold that sucker. Thank goodness. But I had a Cultra Deo, and off we went. And we went exploring back roads.
Yeah.
You know a Santon 4x4? That
Yeah.
wasn't a Santon 4x4. There's just no way. And we eventually found a basic route. We took motorbikes down, and we marked this whole thing. We said, right, let's put it out there. The first one we did, we got 200 oaks entered.
Yes.
I nearly fell off my chair. It was amazing. I nearly fell off my motorbike. In fact, I did fall off my
Well, I mean, you are called Rayleigh Foley.
There's a reason for that, I'll tell you. And Mr. Rob Portman gave me that name, but I'll tell you all about that.
But before that, we want to know, a question
Yes.
is that you said you have just come out of the bush.
Yes.
What are you doing in the bush?
We're going to ride on this weekend.
Oh,
and I rode
fantastic.
into a muddy puddle. It didn't look very deep, but it was. And I ride a motorbike in Queens now on a quad, and she had to tow me out. But don't tell anybody that. All your oaks are not quads. I tell you, they are very useful some days.
So Leandra Prinsley says she likes your cap, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. That's cool.
Yeah.
So what we did then, we said, okay, we're going. And we all signed in at some hall or something or other. And we sent the oaks. We didn't have GPS back in those days. So we had them written directions.
Amazing.
We'll meet under the tree in the bush in this place. And it was not in Belito. It was one sort of town down. And we found, it wasn't even at a farm or anything. We all gathered under this big msasa tree. On your marks, get set. Mr. T, who's a good buddy of mine, had a big potato gun. He set us off with a bah, and the whole thing exploded. I put my Suzuki, I had a DRZ back then, put my Suzuki together, gear lever fell off, and everybody just took off, and it was marked. And we all arrived at Carnival City, I don't know how long, no, I think we did it from Thunder Valley back then, I can't remember. And we gave Quasi 200 grand. We just said, there we go. Yeah,
amazing.
But I mean, some of the feedback that I've got as well is in terms of the marking, the route marking that you do.
Yes.
And everybody says that it is superb. That there's,
Wow.
it can be for 1,000 Ks.
They just bring
and
nice
and everything is just right, and nobody gets lost, and everybody knows what obstacles are there.
It's right until the locals decide to have a little bit of fun. So they'll go and stand in front of your markers and point that way.
But what's the process behind that? How do you mark out a route?
So we've just recently moved it now, and it's simply because there are too many people. The area around Belito is expanding, and we were getting concerned about safety. Obviously, 1 or 2 motorbikes coming through, it's great. When you got 300 bikes coming past, then eventually the guys out there, they've been sitting in the pub, they get a little bit bored, they think, let's throw a rock at the guys. It has happened.
Sure,
you know what I mean? And,
sure.
and it's realistic. So what we did recently was we moved it to Richards Bay. We're now in Joburg to Richards Bay. We're in Richards Bay. But so the process is, where are we going to go? We pull out a map. Okay, that looks cool. Let's go. Let's go see if there's a start venue and an end venue. And then we start talking to farmers in between, from there to there to there to there. If you've got the community in your team, it's a very big help. It helps a lot. Okay, and then this is the clincher. We need to market, and I'll tell you why. We gave GPS codes out only once.
Yeah.
And what happened was some of the guys went back and rode on the farms. And then I'd have angry farmers phoning me saying, you've left my gate open. I said, but sir, we're not there. We've come through. We closed, we cleaned. It's not us. So we, although, if a guy chucks a GPS in his back and records the route, there's not much we can do about it.
Sure.
So we feel it needs to be marked, and then we try and clean it up.
But it also, I suppose, takes you back a few steps and makes it a bit more old school. That you've got to kind of navigate your way through.
Correct.
Takes a bit of skill.
Correct. Look, the big thing with what we do is we don't attract the race crowd. So they all understand GPS and mark. I want to make it as safe as possible for mom and pops and the experienced rider as well. So if an experienced rider comes, he wants to go fast, I need to make sure I've marked that it's danger. It's not just a little point on a GPS that says watch out. And it's for me as well, and I'm a dad, so my kids ride as well. Yes. So I need to make sure, hey, it's marked and it's clear. It's never perfect. You cannot. It's 1,000 kilometers, Oaks, of marking. It takes us, before the event, it takes us a full month.
I was going to ask,
2 teams, off motorbikes on the back, mark as much, jump on, through the farms, mark with the buckies. It's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of the cost. A lot of the Oaks say, I don't believe it's expensive, but how can it be? They don't see the back work that goes into everything. And it's a more of a task. And there's costs involved and all that. And I'm not moaning, it's fun. It's the best. Some of the best times I've ever had in my life for marking trails, because it's just you and your bike, and hey, let's go. It drives Kareen mad. I said, Kareen, I wonder what's up that copy there. No, but maybe there's a better route. And we once followed the Sundays River in the wrong direction for 50 kilometers, and we were running out of petrol. So
Sure.
wanted to kill me. We didn't have GPSs. We went down there, we had to turn around and come back again. It was insane, but we have had the best times ever doing that.
Talking about trips, you were on as you said, the Suzuki trip in the Korea just a couple of weeks ago,
Yes.
a week or two ago. Tell us about that.
You know, it is.
We've got some pictures of that as well.
Yeah, yes. It is so lekker to see the bike industry starting to fire again. I mean, this whole COVID lockdown thing has hurt. It's hurt everybody. You know, simple.
What's that?
That's a Suzuki V-Strom, and that's our favorite lookout point. It's absolutely brilliant. I forget the name of the pass, but it's
amazing.
It's absolutely fantastic. Let me tell you. So Chris and the boys went down a little bit earlier, and they recce'd a whole route for us. We were spoiled. We flew down. They took us and 2 days of riding. And you know the nice thing, I've ridden the Cape a lot. It's one of my shame he fell off just after that. Have you got the next photo?
Pretty technical little piece that, eh?
But I've got to tell you, the Ignis followed us, so it wasn't break your motorbike difficult at all.
Sure.
I think those are car journalists on there. They're not the world's most experienced riders and whatever, but it was great. And I think that's what 97% of people want to do on their adventure bikes. You're spending 200 grand plus on it. You don't want to go drop it.
You don't want to damage it.
100%, and it was fantastic. The Cape is special.
As of sort of a final thought, I want to come back to the magazines.
Yes.
So tell me about Dirt and Trail and Ride Fast magazine.
When we resigned from Bike SA to start with the adventure company, we didn't have enough to keep us busy, or I didn't have enough to keep me busy. So I got a call from Mr. George Portman, who ran Superbike. He runs Superbike currently. Hey Glenn, what are you up to now? I said, well, we're doing this. Come and see me. So I started Dirt and Trail with him.
Okay.
And we were partners or whatever. And then eventually I bought him out. And then we ran it by ourselves, and that's been going on ever since.
All right.
And then Ride Fast came along. It came onto the market about, I think it must be about 5 years ago now. I would guess. And I said, well, you know, we need to expand. Like, I'm not busy enough. ADHD is a rabbit.
Yeah.
ADHD is settling in. My wife said, you better find something else to keep you busy. You're going to be in trouble. And with things were getting tighter, obviously. Okay, we needed to find an additional revenue stream.
Sure.
So we thought, okay, well then let's look at Ride Fast, and I bought it from Georgia as well.
Okay.
And we ran it. It's going.
Yeah. And we've just had a slide up now with motormedia.co.za. What's that about?
So what happened was during lockdown, as you do, listen to this. This is a sad tale of woe that not many people will know. Just before lockdown, we printed 20,000 magazines. Okay, guess what? We couldn't distribute them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lockdown came along, distributors said, Glenn, I'm really sorry, we can't get your magazine out. So we said, okay, what do we do? We had been looking at electronic media.
Yes.
Because a lot of our advertisers, internet's the way and this and that and that. I'm not sold yet. I still like the look and touch and feel of the magazine. I do. But there are people who like the internet option. Fortunately, we had already been experimenting with it, and we had everything in place. So we said, okay, well, this is it. So I think for about 5 issues, we went electronic.
Okay.
And it saved our asses. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I have to say thank you to the motorcycle industry, because they supported it. They understood.
And customers, I mean, they're obviously a critical element of your business.
Yes.
So in your latest episode, what are 2 cool features that customers can look forward to in terms of reading?
Everything's cool. I'm in it. Look at me, girls. What are you asking about? What are you asking me? Oh man, so the issue coming out now or the current one?
Well, let's look at the one that's coming out now. So something to look forward to.
Do you need? Okay, so let's look at the off-road market. Do you really need a 300? Have you looked at a 250?
Okay.
We took a 250. We put it through its paces. The TPI, KTM TPI. My opinion, you don't need a 300.
Okay.
The 250 is absolutely fantastic. Similarly priced, but the 300 is like a big 450 4-stroke, where a 250 is really easy to ride.
Yeah.
So that's one feature. And then, okay, we might have a bit of lashback from this. With the price of motorcycles going the way they are, I mean, we can see it. The big bikes are getting more and more expensive. Manufacturers are looking at little entry-level bikes.
Yes.
We got as many little adventure entry-level bikes as we could, from a little Vogue 300 to a Hero 200 to a BMW 310. We had the Honda CRF 300. We had KTM's 390. And we went off on a little adventure ride, and we told everybody what it's all about. So most of the bikes were sub 100.
Yeah.
And that is now the affordable motorcycle. So it's a good story. You'll see there's a good mix-up of everything there, with opinions from all sorts of different riders.
That's
fantastic. Yeah. Okay, well, that's something to look forward to.
So Brian Cheney is watching, and he says the pass was called Bosleys Kloof.
That's right.
That's 100%.
the one. Guys, Cliff is amazing. You need to go there. Go stay at the lodge at the bottom of the hill. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It was really, really amazing. Thank you, Brian. So craft sets in. I talk too much and I don't think that's where the thing comes in.
Thank you very much. But before you go, we're going to have some fun.
Right.
All right?
No, we're not.
And this is called Game Time.
Game time.
This is where we're going to guess them.
All right, guys. So, Glenn
Yes.
and viewers at home, this is where you guys get involved. Please, guys, if you want to join us in this competition and beat Peter Fanie, this is exactly what it's about. Oh, sorry, did I get it wrong?
The viewers are supposed to help me.
Okay. So let's get them to help you guys. All right, so this is how it works. We're going to show you a partial picture of a bike tonight. Okay. If you recognize the bike, you have to shout your name.
Okay.
Not rabbit.
Okay.
Then I'll come to you, and then you give me the answer.
All
You
right.
happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to give you guys too many clues.
Can't you give me a clue, please?
Well, I told you already. It's bikes.
Yeah, but that's not enough. It might as well be spaceships.
Okay. So there's
Blue or is it orange or is it green?
There's some old and new.
Okay.
Okay.
How's about that?
Oh, plural. So there's a few bikes.
Okay. Leandro
There's
says
6 or 7, eh?
Leandro says Pete will win.
Oh, thanks, Leandro. Thank you.
I don't
7
think so.
bikes.
So there's 7 bikes. All right.
Okay.
7 of them.
Are you guys happy and ready to go?
Oh, let's see.
Let's
Okay.
give it a shot. I mean,
Here comes the first one.
Glenn,
What is that, Glenn?
either a CB750 or a CB550 4K Honda.
I'm going to go with your first answer, the 750. Absolutely correct.
How do I know? I owned one. I'm giving you my age away. Isn't that beautiful?
It's beautiful, eh?
Now, let me tell you something. If we knew what those things are worth now, we wouldn't have chopped them as much as we did.
Exactly.
Bloody hell.
if I knew what that was, I would have given the answer.
So the cafe races that the guys are doing with the CB750 is amazing.
But it's almost a shame they should be left standing.
And
And they're worth money stand, but the
Yeah.
cafes are beautiful.
Yeah. All right, guys. So Glenn in the lead, exactly the way it's supposed to go. Leandro says that was a Honda. Yes, Leandro, we know it's a Honda.
Leandro, please WhatsApp me.
Mario
Pass me
says
my phone there, please, Glenn.
Mario says it's a CB.
Thank you. I'm going to wait for the WhatsApp.
Marius Longer is not right. Okay, but here comes the second one, guys. Ready to go?
Glenn,
Oh, jeepers.
that's
Glenn.
a BMW R80.
Absolutely correct.
How did I know that?
How did you know that?
It's ridiculous,
Because
honestly.
Glenn owns not one,
Glenn-
but 2 motorbike magazines. How about that for a hint?
I think I've ridden one. I'm not sure.
Okay, let's see. Well, Nadia says that's a BMW. Yes, well done. Half a point to Nadia. All right, guys, thank you for playing along. This is going exactly the way it's supposed to go. And here comes the third one, Glenn. Difficult, eh?
Glenn, that's an Aprilia of some sort.
I'm
It's
going to
an
give
RS125 or an RS250.
250. Yes. Oh my goodness.
You know what? My kids and I
I
played
don't
this
know
game.
what. I don't know what.
No, we do. We see a tail light and I say, Tristan, what bike's that?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we have
but that's
guessing
your
games.
kids.
I know, but I'm sorry. I'm interested in motorbikes. I like it.
Yes, this is going
Like
exactly.
a nice girl.
Next week we're having a maths quiz.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not playing. Okay, so 3-0 at the moment to Glenn.
Sorry.
No, please just
I'll
go.
look at
Just
my-
go.
I'll
I'm
look
used
at
to
my-
it.
Just go.
I'm used to it.
all
My
out.
counsellor, every time I go
Here's
see her.
here's the fourth one, guys.
Glenn.
Peter.
Okay, you go first.
Is that the Kawasaki H2?
I'm going to give it to you, Pete. Well done.
What is it then?
It is.
Wow, it sounded like I
But
was...
you got to say which one. That's the
The
Big
R.
Mama. Have you ridden that thing?
Which one did we have?
I can't remember.
I've ridden the S6 and I've
Yeah.
ridden the Naked.
The naked one we
No,
had.
you had the
Goodness
you rode the
gracious
naked.
me,
Yeah.
what a motorcycle.
So down the road, yeah, as I popped into second, the front wheel came off the ground and woke me.
yeah.
The
But
F
isn't
up.
There
it
were 2
amazing?
skid marks, one on the road and one in his underpants.
And white marks on the seat. But isn't that supercharger a thing
It's
of beauty?
amazing.
It's like a turbo. You wait for it to kick your ass. This
Yeah.
one just
Yeah,
and they coffee grind and all.
it's amazing.
I dropped one off my backy.
Really? Oh my goodness.
It cost me a lot to fix. Sorry,
Okay,
Sure.
so the competition as it stands is 3-1.
but he cheated.
Why,
Yes.
how did I cheat?
He
probably-
Kawasaki. It's very vague, and they got green
I said
walls and
H2.
stuff.
I said H2.
Okay, guys, here is number 5.
Yo, that's tricky. Glenn, Honda Africa Twin.
No,
Wow.
Pete, you should know this because we spoke about that oil filter.
V-Strom.
this is
V-Strom.
yeah.
V-Strom.
Suzuki V-Strom.
No, half.
No, I'm gonna give it to Peter.
Because you see, look at the position of
read that
that.
last
Look at the position of the oil filter. It's a bit awkward for me.
It's not. Okay, so I'm going to say something. Everybody has criticised Suzuki for putting that thing there.
Yeah.
Guess what we rode the other day? A GS 700. Where's the oil filter? Same place.
Really?
Has anyone I've ever met in my life broken one? No, not a single person. And I've ridden hundreds of them. So
Yeah.
all you oaks who know everything, come ride with me. Yo.
Okay, so just to make it interesting, I gave it to him. Okay, because I know what's going to happen now. Okay, so it is 3-2 at the moment with
Pressure,
2 to go.
pressure.
Here's number 6.
Pressure. Glenn.
Yes,
It
Glenn.
can only be a GS 12.
12?
1250.
GS 1250.
Peter,
No,
1250.
I'm going to give it to Glenn because
He said
because-
1200.
Yeah,
That's wrong.
no.
Let's go halfies, half.
Thank
I'll
you.
be generous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I said GS.
And I
that's
said
2, that's
1250.
That's 4. Okay, a little bit. All right.
Okay, so 3.5 to 2.5.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm comfortable
you can
with that
only-
because I was expecting a 7-0 wipe.
No, you've done great, honestly.
This last one,
bad for a
though,
chief.
with the last one, I always do a little bit of a thing. You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
see. Let's see.
So here's the last one, guys.
Yeah, no mercy, hey?
Oh, that's
Peter.
got it.
Peter, what is that?
Glenn, come on.
No.
Okay, you go, okay.
Yeah?
No,
I
I
didn't
mean,
say
that's,
one.
that's,
No, don't read it.
that is a Harley Davidson.
Which one?
Yeah, this has to be...
Listen, half points. I'm going to just go with Harley Davidson.
Okay, Glenn, if you
Pan
tell
America.
me... If you tell me what that is...
So that's their new adventure bike.
Yeah?
Is it called a Pan America? Or Trans America Triumph? I don't know. I wonder if they're going to get you, Fanie. I'd like to ride one. Harley, if you're watching, we want to ride one. I did a story on it. Pan America? No.
Stop diverting, tell us the name. Otherwise, you're only going to get half points.
It's a
like
hardly
me.
dangerous, but I don't know what.
Is it called a street bob?
No.
Not?
No.
Okay, so then it's Harley Davidson and you guys get half points.
What's it called?
I've got street bob.
Pan America. I'm sure it's a Pan America.
Okay, then I'm going to give you the point.
No,
that
let's
doesn't
do our
count.
homework. Where's the magazine? Oh,
Okay, so thank you very much, Glenn.
that was fun. Well done.
Brian says it's Pan American, so you're right. Okay.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Checks in the mail. That's true.
So that's 4.5 to 3. I'll give you. I'll
Listen,
give you
yeah, not bad, eh?
I'll
Listen,
live with that.
well done.
I was
Well
really
done.
expecting a high.
Well done. No, that was awesome.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
for
I
joining us.
appreciate
It's
it,
definitely not the director said it's definitely not a street bob. It's definitely the Pan
Yeah,
American.
okay.
So well done.
I thought I was going mad for a second.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. It was
Thank
awesome
you.
having you
Thanks
here.
you guys. And nice to have you.
It's always a pleasure having a fellow biker on the show.
So when are we doing a bike show? A bike test like you did on your Suzuki Swift?
Let's do it.
Let us know.
Let's go talk to Suzuki.
Let's do it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Stuart, are you listening?
All right, guys, that brings us to the end of our guest of the week, and now we're going to move on to how things work. And last week we looked at a little bit of a history of headlights. And tonight we're going to go a little bit more into detail on LED headlights and the new technology. And this is proudly brought to you by Suzuki Auto South Africa.
Welcome to Let's Talk Automotive, and in this week's episode on how things work, we're going to continue with our theme of headlamps on our vehicles. And you may remember from our previous episode that we took you through a brief history of the design of headlamps, and we ended off explaining how xenon lamps work. So just as a reminder, 30% of all accidents occur at night, and the human brain absorbs about 90% of all the information that we get through our eyes. So our eyes remain a relative weak spot and a weak link at night. So next in our feature on headlamps, we're going to take a look at the unbelievable magic that designers are creating with LED headlamps. So what do LEDs stand for? Well, LED stands for light emitting diode, and originally LEDs were used as a practical electronic component. And an LED is used to illustrate the direction of current flow. And that is what a diode does. A diode allows the flow of current only in one direction. So if the LED is illuminated, it indicates a particular direction of flow of the current. Now, early LEDs were of an infrared nature, which means that we were also initially only using them in devices such as our remote controls for our TVs and hi-fis. Early illumination applications of LEDs were relatively restricted in terms of the colors that they were able to produce, and the big breakthrough came when scientists developed LEDs that could transmit white light. The challenge, though, remained in how bright the lights were, as well as the cost of producing them, both of which remain technically difficult obstacles to overcome for many years. But we now know, of course, that both these challenges have been solved, and we have super bright LEDs that are cost effective with the added bonus of being very reliable. And in fact, some of our LED headlamps can last well over 100,000 hours. But that's not all. LEDs also consume relatively low power, which combined with all of its other characteristics makes it a perfect candidate for vehicle headlamps. So designers were quick to get to work producing some amazing designs and applications, which we will showcase to you now. The first headlamp in our agenda is the Matrix LED headlamp, which has a unit of up to 5 individual reflectors, with each reflector containing 5 LEDs. So we have 25 LEDs, and each of those LEDs can be individually switched on or off. Imagine what we can do now. Being able to control each of the 25 LEDs by either switching them on or off, or in fact even dimming them, we can now have accurate dynamic ability to have both our main beam and our low beam active simultaneously. There's a camera on the windscreen which tracks all the vehicles in front of us and which regulates the split of the light beam so that the vehicles in front are always in our low beam. Even if the vehicles are moving, the camera tracks those vehicles and that split of low beam follows that vehicle, as well as the surrounding areas are still simultaneously being illuminated. And this is possible when multiple vehicles are in front of us as well. So the high and low beam is split to ensure all of them remain glare-free. The second function that the camera performs is to detect vehicles and other objects on the side of the road and automatically illuminates them. Now this gives you, the driver, up to 30 meters additional detection distance, which also translates roughly into about 1.3 seconds of improved reaction time, which enables you now to maneuver around that object or that vehicle that is stuck on the side of the road. So Matrix LED headlamps can mask up to 8 vehicles in front of us with 25 individually controlled LEDs, which means there are no moving mechanical parts either. Truly remarkable stuff. A recent addition to the family of Matrix LED headlamps is, of course, laser lights. Yes, you heard me correctly, lasers. Now, we'll be dedicating a future segment to that of laser beams, but I wanted to give you a teaser of what's to come by showing you one of the laser applications in the form of dynamic laser spotlights, which work in conjunction with the LED assembly. So over and above the standard LED matrix functions, the laser spotlight system can predict the movement of the vehicle in front of us and pre-dim the area that the car will now move into. Unbelievable stuff. And there are many other features that come with laser spotlight systems, but I don't want to give away too much in this episode. But one last feature that I'll share with you is the laser beam's amazing length. Depending on the application, it is possible for the laser beam to illuminate up to 2 kilometers ahead of the car. Wow, really incredible stuff. Now, I reckon that's enough cool technology to showcase today with you guys with respect to LED matrix headlamps. As I said before, there is so much more exciting lighting technology that we'll be sharing with you in future episodes. So I look forward to catching up with you, and until then, take care.
What was that?
It's a laser.
$1 million.
No, Metica, 1 million Metica.
Listen, Pete, it's seriously, the technology in headlights is actually mind-blowing. And that wasn't even everything, like the projector.
That's an entry-level LED headlight.
Yeah.
I mean, wait till we showcase the HD headlights coming up and then the LCD projector beams that are coming.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so let's have some fun. And tonight we've got a cracker for you in our Tappet of the Week. So, Pete, just a normal workshop. pushing out the car. Obviously, it couldn't start, but wait, and gone.
Now you see me, now you don't. Wasn't there a movie about that?
Oh my goodness. It's the funniest, like that oak had no clue. Just
You know
look
what?
at it.
It looks funny, but ultimately that must have hurt like hell. I think that guy invented a few more swear words and started to speak French fluently after that.
But I just love every second of watching that over and over and over again.
You got a sick sense of humor if you found that funny.
All right, guys, that brings us to the end of this week's episode. Next week, Pete, we've got the story on the Energica electric motorcycles that I did with Brian Chain.
I know, this show's becoming really electric, eh? Yeah.
Unfortunately. And what else do we have? What else do we have planned?
Well, we've got some more segments on how things work. We're going to continue with the lighting theme.
I'm looking forward to that. And I'm off to George on Monday for some BMW motorcycles.
Yes, and you know what the number plates in George are?
What?
CAW.
For what?
Cold and wet.
Oh my goodness.
And I believe it is going to rain,
It
so
is
good luck
going
with
to
that
rain,
one. Take
so
your
I'm looking
raincoat
forward
with
to
you
that.
on the bike.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us, whether it was on FS Media, on Let's Talk Automotive, RaceDay.tv, or on YouTube. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again next week, same time, same place.
Cheers, everyone.